Supernatural horror, meaning ghost or demon stories, is a subgenre of horror that feels like it's been tackled in every conceivable way. That's why in 2025, some filmmakers have elected to give this subgenre a shot of life by telling these stories from a different perspective. Earlier this year, we had the film Presence, which was told from the perspective of the entity itself. And now we have Good Boy, which is a supernatural horror movie told sort of from the perspective of a family dog. Sounds kind of improbable, sounds even a little bit ridiculous, and normally I would agree. But this is a case where everyone involved with making this film deserves a ton of credit for pulling off this somewhat unconventional concept. Let's discuss.
I watch so you don't have to.
Before I get started, I'd like to kindly ask that you hit the like button and please subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.
What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for?
Good Boy follows Todd, a man who moves into an old family home that unknowingly has supernatural forces lurking in the shadows. As dark entities start to threaten him, his brave dog comes to his rescue. So there's been a lot of hype around this independent horror movie for months now, so much so that they actually decided to give it a theatrical release. And as it stands right now, obviously, I have no idea how this movie will perform financially, as I assume it is a somewhat limited release. But I do know that if there's a chance that this release could get at least a few more people on board with the idea of embracing original horror, embracing independent horror, then that's a win in my book.
Because it's all part of the plan.
And what's actually happened here is that the writer and director has found a cheat code as it pertains to keeping the audience interested from start to finish. As you all know, the stakes are instantly raised whenever there is an animal involved in a movie in any way. Some people won't even watch a movie if there's even a chance that the animal could be harmed in some way. The animal lover in me specifically has an increased level of anxiety anytime an animal in a film is put in a life or death situation. And this film is very much intentionally playing off of those natural anxieties. Basically turning that idea up to 11 and having the dog be the actual main character and focal point of the film.
That makes sense.
And the dog in this film, named Indy, is 100% absolutely the star of the show, and successfully carries this movie on his unknowing shoulders effortlessly. Is this the scariest horror movie that you're going to see all year? No, probably not. But there is something to be said about the overall approach as it pertains to telling this story and the way that they build tension that I think makes this film worth supporting. If you stay through the end credits of this film, there will most likely be a message from the director himself, basically thanking you for watching, Tom Cruise style. But director Ben Leonberg actually takes it a step further and gives the audience a behind-the-scenes look at how the film came together. It's revealed that the dog in the film is actually his own dog. The film was shot in his house, and it was shot over the course of about 300 days with a very small crew. And I thought it was brilliant to include this little tidbit of information after the film was done, because at least for me personally, it made me appreciate that much more what they were able to accomplish.
I like it a lot.
This is independent filmmaking in its purest form, and the very definition of doing the most with the least amount of resources. It's a testament to what a vision and creativity can bring to the table if a filmmaker is in fact given complete freedom to create. He even talked about how they managed to make it seem like the dog was going through this wide range of emotions, despite the fact that the dog actually had no idea, obviously, that he was filming a movie. They actually used legit filmmaking techniques to pull this off, and when you see it play out on film in the movie, it is 100% believable. And that's what struck me most about Good Boy. It does feel authentic in its efforts to create an emotional reaction in the audience. And it's all being done using this incredibly charismatic and relatable dog. Not everything is told from the dog's perspective. There are also a lot of establishing shots that really give you a sense of the environment that this story is taking place in. And it goes a long way to establishing the atmosphere in this film, which there is plenty of, which accounts for about 90% of the film's creepiness.
Purely and simply evil.
There's also some jump scares in this film, but the good kind of jump scares, not the ones that are being obviously set up and really don't have much of a payoff. The entity itself is also left somewhat mysterious, which I always think is the best option in situations like this. Traditionally, the less you know about the villain of the story, the better, and Good Boy very much takes that approach. I would say if there was one aspect of the film that did feel a bit forced to me, it was some of the dialogue. Now, I understand that they needed to flesh out the scenes, give a little bit of backstory, and add some context, and that's very hard to do when the lead character of your film does not speak. But there are moments where the dialogue did feel a bit too exposition-y for my liking, and it did take me out of the film to a degree. I'm not going to hold it against them too much. Having a dog as your lead character does add an extra layer of difficulty when it comes to telling a story, and I feel like they navigated through that the best that they possibly could. On a more personal level, this film connected with me, if for no other reason, as most of you know, that I lost both of my dogs recently to unexpected illnesses. And I miss them every day, and there was just something about seeing the dog in this film stick with his owner no matter what. Even when the owner wasn't the best version of himself, the dog stayed loyal to him, and obviously that just spoke to me on a deeper level and made me miss my own dogs even more. To me, that's what being a dog owner is all about. It's about that loyalty, that companionship. They will stick with you to the bitter end, and that's what makes them so special. And I do feel like this film captured that aspect of being a pet owner perfectly. This is what movies are supposed to do if you are doing it right. They're supposed to connect with the audience on a deeper, more emotional level when possible.
Why do you cry?
Bottom line, this is an independent horror film made by dog lovers for dog lovers. There is no character in a horror film that you will want to pull for more and that you want to see get out of this situation successfully more than Indy the dog. The movie does a decent job of building tension and making you feel like this dog and his owner are in grave danger. And while some of the dialogue and a little bit of the backstory stuff did leave something to be desired, in my opinion, it wasn't enough to distract me from the fact that I was very much enjoying this experience, and the filmmakers deserve a ton of credit for what they accomplished here. Pulling a concept like this off with minimal resources and having it look as good as it does in this film is remarkable. Good Boy is pretty much exactly what I thought it would be, and it even managed to be a little bit more, and for that reason, I'm going to be giving it the pleased Palpatine.
Good. Good.
Y'all be cool. Shut up.